Ancient Treatments, New Practices is made possible by the Hanban Confucius Institute headquarters, a public institution affiliated with the Chinese Ministry of Education, committed to providing Chinese language and cultural teaching resources and services worldwide. Additional support is provided by Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis.
East Asian medicine is especially good at treating anything that Western medicine is scratching its head at.
I realized that if you marry the two together, it makes a wonderful treatment plan.
Western medicine is eager to learn this Asian medicine. That's very good.
China is a nation of such great history, it is in a constant process of living its past with its present. In the crowded metropolis of Guangzhou, in the South China province of Guangdong, department stores and shopping malls mingle in the city's center alongside world-class hotels. Giant digital billboards advertise products, services, and reminders that can be understood in any language. But not far away, the most modern of amenities are sought out by Chinese consumers in that most old-fashioned of ways, in the marketplace. No giant box stores, but rather market shops. Transportation of the millions of residents in Guangzhou and their goods ranges from subway to bus to car to motorcycle, and the ubiquitous bicycle, on which, as any visitor can see, almost anything may be carried. Citizens and visitors alike flock to the city's largest park to see the statue of the 5 rams. Legend has it that 5 goats brought sheaves of rice to the province 2,000 years ago, ensuring the area's future prosperity. And mere feet from the statue, another reminder of China's convergence of past and present, as residents take advantage of the open park spaces to practice the ancient movements of Tai Chi. The Chinese have built a harmonic relationship between their culture's traditional health practices and the modern Western medicine that's taken the world by storm over the past 100 years. In Guangzhou, as elsewhere, the traditional Chinese medicine clinics are paired directly with their contemporary counterparts because Chinese citizens rely on both the ancient treatments and modern practices. The Chinese medical system must oversee the care of the largest single-nation population on the planet, over 1,340,000,000 people. Hospitals, clinics, and doctors' offices are crowded with patients from open to close, like Americans in that they are seeking care for medical problems they are unable to manage on their own. There are 2 large traditional Chinese medicine hospitals in Guangzhou. One belongs to the Hospital of Sun Yat-sen University, a close teaching partner of many other university hospitals and medical schools around the world, including the Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. IU medical students can come here as part of the study program to learn more about ancient Asian treatments. The outpatient department in this traditional Chinese medicine hospital has 24 doctors on staff. They treat 1,500 patients a day, like this man. He suffers severe stomach aches, especially when he eats.
See what's the doctor first, and the doctor told him he had nothing wrong in his stomach. Told him to see traditional Chinese medicine doctor.
This physician, who not only treats dozens of patients each day, but also runs his entire department, begins every examination the same way at his own desk, checking the patient's pulse in each wrist and examining the patient's tongue. He determines from his findings and the patient's description of pain over the last few months that the man is suffering from gallbladder problems.
I have prescription herbs, and he take the herbs and cooking for 6 days. After 6 days, we will come back to see me again and to see if relieve the pain of his stomach and gallbladder.
And so the patient is sent out with a prescription from the herbal pharmacy located in the hospital itself and scheduled for a follow-up visit. And so it goes, the line of patients seeming to never end. Dr. He Guangheng is assigned as our guide through the hospital, in part because she speaks English. She seems very young compared to some of her counterparts, but she is 27 and has been treating patients of her own for a couple of years now. She attended Sun Yat-sen University to learn traditional Chinese medicine. She tells us some people turn to her clinic for care first, while others are referred.
Patients come here, some of them are the first time, and maybe some of them are, have seen the doctors of other hospital or other departments, but maybe the treatment, maybe they don't have good efforts, so they come here.
The Chinese are no different than patients anywhere else in the world. They come for a variety of reasons, but first and foremost, she treats patients seeking pain relief.
A migraine, headache, or maybe some neck problem, or feel backache. I think that maybe patients suffer from the facial palsy. That is one of the disease which the acupuncture has good efforts.
In China, in-clinic treatments include everything from the more commonly recognized acupuncture to a process called cupping, which uses heated glass jars to create suction on the skin's surface, to one called moxibustion, in which a tube of pungent herbs related to sage is burned slowly in a box applied to the patient. Practically next door to this hospital is another one, the Hospital of the Guangzhou University of Chinese Medicine. The school and this hospital are completely devoted to teaching traditional Chinese medicine and providing high-quality health care to the people of Guangdong Province. The doctors here find themselves teaching students who can vary widely in age and nationality.
见习的学生一般就是过来了解一下临床的大概的情况，他们主要是来看一看。那实习的学生他就要动手的，就是我们要教他临床上如何去操作，如何去处理一个病人。
Dr. Zhu Hongmin is seeing a patient on a follow-up visit. The man's complaint is a familiar one, back pain.
He just said he have the lumbar pain and have the nerve pain of the left leg for about 1 month. And this is the second time to come here to get the treatment. Yeah, very painful. Sometimes can't to walk, to stand, and have to lie down on the back.
Dr. Zhu treats the patient with manipulation, sometimes forcefully to help the man find relief, and will continue to treat him until the pain is alleviated.
The curing effect is the best proof. I think the curing effect is a bit louder than words sometimes. When you see it's really working, then it's proof.
These hospitals have two different types of pharmacies, a typical Western-style pharmacy with typical Western-style prescriptions being filled. The other type of pharmacy used for dispensing traditional Chinese medicine prescriptions is an adventure unlike anything you find in the United States.
我们一天大概是病人中药处方大约要3000张左右，中药的基数大概是2万剂左右。我们这里总共的人数大概是要80人，大部分很多都是我们中药大学毕业的。医院我们整个药屋的时候，我们是每个星期做3剂135针药。在我们这里下面，我们药房站的中餐后领是每天都领，我们每天大概用到5吨左右的药材。医院来说，我们相对比较规范吧。从我们说药房的面积啊、人员的配置啊，就是说还是说药材的正货渠道啊、药材的质量啊，我们相对无论从广东还是全国来说，相对都是比较好的。
That's right. 20,000 prescriptions a day at a rate of 5 tons of herbs a day, all formulated and dispensed by hand by an army of highly trained traditional medicine pharmacists. But like Americans, most Chinese don't run out to get a prescription first to treat themselves. They run to the market. Think of it like this. Instead of heading to the drugstore to buy cold or allergy medicine over the counter, many Chinese head to the herb market, then make their own cold or allergy treatment at home, not unlike mixing up a batch of tea or chicken soup. The fact is, the ancient Chinese culture is so steeped in herbal treatments, the average citizen thinks nothing of heading out to the incredible open-air market to purchase a specialty ingredient or just stock up the medicine cabinet. Still, if one wants to truly practice traditional Chinese medicine, an extensive education is required. Students can study in southern China at Sun Yat-sen or the Guangzhou University of Chinese Medicine, a school solely dedicated to the history and instruction of traditional Chinese medicine. This doctor, who specializes in women's health, is a first-generation physician of sorts. Her father helped found the modern-day incarnation of the school, and as her perpetually crowded office shows, she follows closely in his footsteps.
he was a old Chinese medical doctor. Yes.
Traditional.
Yeah. And he worked in this university about, I see, from 1956 to 1995. Yeah. So about 40 years in the university. Yeah. And his major is in gynecology of traditional Chinese medicine.
Tradition and education are highly revered in China. In fact, teachers, professors are thought of more highly in Chinese culture than doctors themselves. The reverence for history and the history of teaching are obvious in the university's incredible museum dedicated to the earliest practices of traditional Chinese medicine. It has one of the most impressive exhibits ever designed of the hundreds of herbs used in traditional Chinese medicine. Thousands of school children flock to the museum each year to step back in time, to learn the history of something they may in fact take for granted in their daily lives. The school itself holds an important spot in the pantheon of Chinese medical instruction. University President Wang Shengliang leads one of the most respected programs in the world, currently enrolling 20,000 students.
广州中医大学呢是全国最早建立的4所中药大学之一。学校成立以来呢，我们学校已经为社会包括全世界各地培养了将近6万名中医中药方面的人才。在美国相当的多，我们美国的校友是非常多，特别是旧金山、洛杉矶一带校友非常多。
The coursework may seem unusual even to those who've attended Western medical classes. One professor leads students on required lectures through the university's extensive herb garden. Others involve unusual devices, mechanized body parts, and fake tongues, not to mention practicing on one's classmates. After all, traditional Chinese medicine is literally a hands-on profession.
The basic theory of TCM, the diagnosis of TCM, they will tell the pulse, to check the tongue diagnosis, and observe the facial complexion, etc. All this sign is closely related to the certain disease.
就从中医来说的，它的理论特点是这样。那我们有一个这样的一个说法，单纯从这个手的某一个部位，3个手指它所这个观察的脏腑，那也不一样的。你好像这个左边的手，它最主要跟上焦、心跟肺有关。那如果是中指来说，它最主要是跟什么？跟中焦一个脏腑那是有关，好像脾胃、肝胆啊等等。那它就左边的手，它观察的脏腑跟右边的手观察的脏腑都不一样。你好像单纯就从这个春脉来说，都后接心跟肺，但是左边的春脉呢，它跟这心那是有关。 而右边的这个春脉呢，它跟着肺那是有关，所以心跟肺来说，它是左右手不同来把的，那是这样啊。
The growing use of traditional Chinese medicine around the world brings students like Pedro and Yatsen to the school's renowned study program. They know they will be able to practice anywhere when they graduate.
I wanted to change a career and do something completely different from what I was doing before, a new vocation, so to speak. And this is very different from what I was doing before. I was doing freight forwarding before, and I studied communications back in college, so this is a big difference, and I never looked back.
Hopefully I'll continue to practice somewhere, I'm not sure where yet. Maybe Canada's the easiest choice where I come from, but if I have an opportunity somewhere else again, I'd like to continue. We won't have the title as doctor as they do here in China, but we will be able to practice our major, which is acupuncture. I know now that a lot of private insurance companies are actually covering it. So they're using it a lot for pain. They know that it works well for pain, so it's quite popular for pain now.
I think it was more than 10 years ago that Ayurvedic therapy was also certain types of treatments of Ayurveda were paid by insurance companies in the Netherlands, and this really opened the gate for a lot of alternative therapies in the Netherlands. I think especially Northern Europe, they're more open to alternative treatments, but still it's Western medicine that certainly rules. Yeah.
The amount of diseases that you will be able to practice on here because of the patients, the Chinese patients, and the amount of experience, the amount of practice you will get here is very different than the amount of practice you would get back at home.
So you graduate from our university, usually they can get the further study for the master degree or doctorate degree. Yeah, nowadays we have some students in the UK, in Australia, Greek. They take their further study in our university to fight for their master degree. Yeah. And when they graduated, they can also find the jobs in China, work in the hospital or research unit, etc. Students can get the opportunity to practice these techniques to let them become skilled professionals. And they can go to their hospitals to practice the technique. They can know how the acupuncture is placed in hospital, and they can apply their skills on patient and the guidance from the doctor.
As recently as just a decade ago, it could be difficult for the average Midwestern American to find a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine. The search might require a trip to the East or West Coast, or at least Chicago. Not so now. Lei Xia is a board-certified clinician. She started out in the IU School of Nursing, but then pursued her love of the traditional medicine of her family's Asian culture. She now treats patients in 3 locations around central Indiana and is even on the rating system Angie's List. She's been practicing long enough to witness the change in attitude toward traditional Chinese medicine.
Yes, big difference now. Yeah, because before it's like hardly have anyone practice acupuncture in Indiana. And so now more and more people practice, and shows more people want to try acupuncture too. I use acupuncture and with the Chinese herbs, and also if patients have, for example, back pain, muscle pain, we use cupping or masturbation too. The cupping is use a glass jaw, makes a suction on the pain area, and it works to help the muscle relax and help circulation. And when we put on a certain spot of the body, it can even relieve the high fever with the cupping. And with the masturbation, it's light the maxa sticker, which is made by the certain herb, and it's use a warm function to stimulate the certain acupoint.
At her clinic on the north side of Indianapolis, Lei Xia treats Mary Foster and her teenage son, Walter. Friends suggested Mary try an alternative route when typical care wasn't getting her the results she wanted.
I had had some major surgery, and my emotions were messed up after the surgery, and I was exhausted. So I was trying to find someone who could help me with that, you know, because my medical doctor was like checking thyroid and all that, and it wasn't really making a difference. So I was trying to find something that could make my life a little better. I realized that if you marry the two together, it makes a wonderful treatment plan. Actually, I saw her, she did an evaluation, and I had one treatment, and she gave me these little pills, and she's like, I really think you need to take these two. She says, you know, your emotions are really on the edge, and she did actually nail it without me even having to tell her too much. And I took those and went back the next week, but I felt great after the first treatment.
Mary's son Walter presented something different, the chronic condition narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy is, contrary to popular belief, not a problem with going to sleep, but a problem with the sleep itself and waking up. My quality of sleep is much less than anybody else, and it really focuses itself on the ability to wake back up and stay awake. It's like running at half battery. A lot of people would have thought of me as slow or very lazy. I wouldn't really do very many things activity-wise because I just didn't have the energy.
As sometimes happens, side effects from Walter's narcolepsy treatments made him feel worse. Mary believed Lei Xia could help.
For the migraines, she started me with the acupuncture itself, and that helped enormously and immediately. I walked out of there feeling like $1,000,000. And for the dizziness and headaches, and the nausea, she gave me some herbal medicine, some dietary supplements to help treat my body from the inside.
A recent car accident proved the value of the foster family's maintenance schedule.
I had deep, deep muscle pain in my shoulder and upper arm. And we went to the visit. I got my normal acupuncture treatment. And then afterwards, she introduced something new to me, cupping, where she took a couple of these glass jars, very strange looking, and she put them on my arm, and through some method, she got them to stick. Now, it felt very strange, almost like someone was sort of, well, like when you put suction on your hand or something on your arm. And she let that be for about 30 minutes or so. And when it was all done, she popped them off, and I couldn't believe the difference. Beforehand, I could barely move my arm above 45 degrees from my shoulder, and now I had full range of motion again.
You know, Western medicine is excellent. You know, if you have a hernia, you need the repair job. You know, there's no doubt about it. But, you know, alternate medicine can build your other parts of your body to make it stronger so that maybe you don't get a hernia again in the future.
Lei Shaw treats patients in a Western-style setting, but that's no longer the only option in central Indiana. Indiana Downtown Community Acupuncture is based on the model typically found in China. Treatments are scheduled quickly, patients rest comfortably in recliners, and pay is based on a sliding scale for greater accessibility. The clinic even offers some free treatments for military veterans.
Well, we offer acupuncture, and we also offer Chinese herbology. We're trained just as much in herbology as we are in acupuncture. It's just that acupuncture is the brand name that people recognize, but they go together very well. It's kind of the 1-2 punch. Majority of our patients come in for pain. We also see a lot of sinus and allergy issues in Indiana, and we also see a lot of digestive issues, psychological issues. I mean, the list goes on, fertility.
Erica Siegel and her staff at Indy Acupuncture know most clients will come into one of their locations with a barrage of questions. But the first should be to ask how much training the clinician has had, because not all acupuncturists have committed to advanced education.
But they haven't been trained in the full spectrum of differential diagnosis that we have. So it's a difference between putting acupuncture needles in somebody from a Western medical perspective and using a point chart and actually fully practicing East Asian medicine.
I've been practicing for about 7 years in Indiana, and it seems that more and more people are becoming aware of what acupuncture is and what it can do for them. So I think the learning curve has, you know, it's improved. It's improved. And really, once someone has an experience with it, they recognize the benefits. And so it's a pretty quick learning curve.
Patients who undergo acupuncture learn quickly that the herbology component goes hand in hand with the needles. In fact, herbal treatment actually leads so-called needling in use. The good news is, whether in Chinese pharmacies or the offices of certified American clinicians, the herbs are a well-regulated, well-managed product. And excitement is high over international research into ancient Asian treatments.
Western medicine is eager to learn this ancient medicine. That's very good. And the research has shown so far is for example, the functional MRI has shown the acupuncture can trigger the brain secrete a certain chemical to balance the body. For example, acupuncture will trigger the serotonin secretion. So this chemical is, we call it the happy chemical in the brain. So people, that's why after the treatment, they will feel relaxed. And many patients can even fall asleep on the table, even though some of them complain about insomnia. First, I've been asked many times as a first-time treatment, does it hurt? And as you can see, it doesn't hurt as most people think. So, and also people were thinking, oh, it works because they imagined. But I have several patients had their past tried acupuncture first and was amazed how good benefit their past had. Then they start to try acupuncture.
A lot of people are concerned that it hurts. And the needles are so fine, and the sensation that you get is literally, I tell people, it's like a little tug on the arm hair. and that's about it. You know, occasionally you get a slight ache, but it's nothing like the typical needles that, you know, the hypodermic needles. So, you know, trying to get people to get over their fear of needles because it's not the same needle that they're fearful of. And also a lot of people think, oh, it's all in your head, you know, when you have benefits from acupuncture. Now, there is some positivity to the placebo effect. The difference is it works on animals, and I don't think animals are sitting around believing or not believing in acupuncture. And also, you know, placebo effect is known to have about a 30% success rate, which is pretty good in and of itself, but acupuncture tends to have closer to a 75 to 80% success rate.
So, who might consider the alternatives of traditional Chinese medicine for themselves? Well, just about anyone.
If you're trying and trying and trying and hitting your head against a wall and you're not getting any results, then try something else, which is basically what I did.
We have people come in all the time that they're sort of like crossing their fingers because they've been to 3 different doctors and other specialists and their chiropractor and everything else, and they're still in chronic pain. So, you know, the talking to them about how it works and why it will work usually happens after they've sort of had an aha moment with the medicine and they're feeling better. Just about everybody that comes in for acupuncture, their stress level lowers. So even if they're not coming in for stress, if they're coming in for back pain or irritable bowels or something of that nature, they'll come back very shortly afterwards and be like, I feel so much more relaxed all of the time now. So that's a very, very happy result that we see typically.
Ancient Treatments, New Practices is made possible by the Hanban Confucius Institute headquarters, a public institution affiliated with the Chinese Ministry of Education, committed to providing Chinese language and cultural teaching resources and services worldwide. Additional support is provided by Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis.